On a cold winter day, something happened at a small wildlife shelter that forever changed the life of a young woman named Alita. Snow was slowly falling on the roofs of the enclosures when a wolf gave birth to her litter. 5 tiny pups, one of whom would later be named Kira. For the first 2 days, everything went well. The mother wolf cared for her pups attentively. But on the 3rd day, something changed. The mother suddenly turned away from all her cubs, leaving them without care or milk. Alita was hurrying to her morning shift along the snowy path of the shelter. Unusual squeaking sounds from the enclosure with the newborn pups made her stop. Looking inside, she saw 5 shivering little ones huddled in a corner. Their mother lay in the opposite corner, completely ignoring them. Wasting no time, Alita contacted the shelter's veterinarian. 15 minutes later, they were carefully removing the frozen pups from the enclosure together. The pups were so weak that they could barely move. The vet quickly examined each one, checking their vital signs. The smallest wolf pup, later named Kira, was barely breathing. The day turned into an endless struggle to save their lives. Alita rushed to the nearest town to get special milk for the pups. Along the way, she called other shelters to get advice on how to care for abandoned wolf pups. At the vet clinic, she managed to find 5 tiny bottles with special nipples. Every 2 hours, Alita fed the pups from the bottles, gently massaging their bellies after each feeding. The day quietly turned into evening, and evening into night. The shelter director allowed Alita to stay overnight for her shift. She made a temporary bed near the improvised nest of the wolf pups. In the morning, Alita called home to let her family know she would be away for an extended time. Her 7-year-old son, Mark, begged his father to bring him to the shelter. When the boy saw the pups, his eyes lit up with excitement. He immediately noticed Kira, the smallest and most active of the litter. Weeks passed, and the pups grew stronger. Alita practically lived at the shelter, going home only to spend time with her son and change clothes. Kira stood out from her siblings because she reached out to people more. She was the first to recognize Alita's voice and would whimper joyfully whenever she appeared. When the pups turned a month old, it was time to decide what to do with them. 2 of the brothers were taken to other shelters to grow up and produce offspring. 2 sisters were prepared for release into the wild. But Kira, Alita couldn't stop thinking about her. After long talks with her family and advice from the shelter staff, she decided to take the pup home. On Kira's moving day, the whole family was nervous. Alita had already prepared a corner in the kitchen for the wolf pup. Mark jumped with excitement. The family's father, who was initially hesitant about the idea, helped set up barriers and bought a sturdy leash. Kira didn't sleep on her first night in her new home. She wandered through the apartment, sniffing every corner and listening to the unfamiliar sounds. The noise of the elevator, the footsteps of neighbors, and the hum of cars outside. All of it scared her. Only by dawn did Kira finally fall asleep, right next to Alita's bed, as if seeking her protection. Now the main task was to teach Kira to live in the city. Alita started taking her for walks early in the morning, when the streets were almost empty. Kira stayed close to her owner's feet, flinching at every sound. But day by day, she grew braver. Mark turned out to be an excellent helper in Kira's training. He spent hours playing with her, helping her get used to different sounds and movements. The boy invented games that helped Kira adjust to city life. Soon, the wolf pup learned a few simple commands and eagerly followed them, knowing she'd get a tasty treat as a reward. Kira's first meeting with another dog happened unexpectedly. During the morning walk, they encountered a neighbor's dachshund. Alita tensed, ready to protect both animals. But Kira surprised everyone. She simply lay down on the ground, showing she didn't want to fight. The dachshund cautiously approached to greet her. From that day on, Kira began to calmly react to other dogs. On weekends, the family would drive out of the city, where Kira could run without a leash or muzzle. There, she became a completely different animal, fast, agile, and resembling her wild relatives. Mark loved these outings, although his parents kept a close eye on his safety. One day during such an outing, something special happened. Mark, while playing, didn't notice a deep pit and started to fall. Kira reacted instantly. She leaped toward the boy, cushioning his fall with her body. After that incident, everyone realized how much the wolf pup cared for the child. In the city, Kira always walked with a steel muzzle and a strong leash. Alita knew that no matter how well behaved the wolf pup was, she was still a wild animal. Passers-by often stopped to look at the unusual dog. Many asked for permission to take pictures with Kira. The wolf pup patiently posed for photos, though it was clear she didn't enjoy the attention. What amazed everyone the most was how Kira behaved around children. She seemed to understand that she needed to be extra careful with them. If she saw a child was scared, she would quietly step aside. Even experienced dog owners who came to see the wolf pup were surprised by her gentle nature. At home, Kira found her favorite spots: the rug by the window in the living room, the corner by Alita's bed, and a spot under Mark's table. She never jumped onto sofas or armchairs, as if she knew they weren't meant for her. At night, she often patrolled the apartment, checking to make sure everything was in order. Kira's first winter in her new home brought a lot of joy. Her fur became thicker and more beautiful, and her eyes shone brighter. In the park, she happily jumped into snowdrifts, and in the countryside, she could run for hours across snowy fields. The cold weather seemed to awaken her ancient wolf instincts. Spring arrived, and a new park opened in their neighborhood. Alita decided to take Kira there. At first, their walks were short. There were too many people and dogs. But gradually, Kira got used to the noisy place. In the park, she made a new friend, a young husky named Lyra. The dogs bonded instantly, and their owners started walking together regularly. In the summer, the family took a bold step. They spent a week in a small house at the edge of a forest, far from other people. For Kira, those days were pure joy. She could run through the woods and explore new places, but always returned when Alita called. At night, the wolf pup guarded the house, and the family felt completely safe. One night, Kira woke everyone with loud growling. A bear, drawn by the smell of food, had approached the house. But seeing the wolf pup confidently standing between him and the house, the bear chose to leave. After that, the family's trust in their unique protector grew even stronger. As time passed, Kira became better at understanding people. She learned many commands, understood gestures, and sensed the mood of each family member. Yet, she remained a true wolf. Proud, independent, but endlessly loyal to her people.
Growing up with
Kira, Mark developed a unique understanding of animals. He became more patient and responsible. At school, he stood up for stray dogs, and his stories about his wolf sister always fascinated his classmates. Each day with Kira brought something new. She learned to open doors with her paw when she wanted to go out onto the balcony. Before walks, she would bring her leash herself. And when someone in the family was sick, she wouldn't leave their side for a moment. Kira continued to surprise her family with new habits in daily life. She woke up 5 minutes before Alita's alarm clock, as if sensing the approach of morning. In the kitchen, she never begged for food, but patiently waited for her bowl to be filled. Mark taught Kira not only to bring her leash, but also to put away her toys in a special basket after playing. During city walks, Kira developed a particular gait, smooth and unhurried, very different from her swift movements in the countryside. At the playground, she always kept her distance but closely watched the playing children. In the winter, Kira revealed new sides of her personality. She could spend hours catching snowflakes with her nose and burying her face in fresh snow. During rain, she pressed her ears flat and tried to dart between raindrops, always choosing the shortest path. When she heard an ambulance siren, she would lift her head and softly howl, as if sympathizing with someone's pain. Kira also developed nightly rituals. Before bed, she always checked the balcony door, making sure it was securely closed. During thunderstorms, she would hide under Mark's desk, the only place where she felt safe from the loud thunderclaps. If there was a nature show on TV, she would sit right in front of the screen and watch intently. Kira had a unique way of showing affection. She would lean her side against a person's legs, gently pressing, as if to say, "I'm here with you." When someone rang the doorbell, she reacted differently depending on who it was. She would greet familiar people warmly, but quietly retreat to another room if a stranger appeared. During family celebrations, she always stayed in the middle of the action but never interfered or tried to draw attention to herself. On rainy days, Kira especially loved lying by the window, watching the street. Her eyes followed every raindrop, every leaf blowing in the wind. In these moments, she seemed deep in thought, as if recalling something from her wolf nature. Alida often thought about the day she first saw the little wolf pup at the shelter. Back then, she couldn't imagine how much this tiny creature would change their lives. Kira became more than just a pet. She was a true member of the family, a loyal friend, and tireless protector. In the evenings, the whole family gathered in the living room. Kira would lie on her favorite rug, attentively listening to their conversations. Sometimes she would quietly approach each family member, as if checking that everything was okay. On cold winter nights, Kira often woke up and patrolled the apartment, stopping by each family member's bed to listen to their breathing. Only after making sure everyone was safe would she return to her spot. Many still wonder how a wild animal can live in a city apartment. Some write online that it's extremely dangerous. But Alida knows the truth. Their Kira is special. She proved that love and care can overcome natural instincts. Looking at her unique family, Alida understands. Sometimes, you need to trust your heart. Kira didn't just survive thanks to human care. She taught them something important. Every living creature has an incredible ability to love and be loyal. You just have to give it a chance.